Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin Perkins and Jim Fowler. The coexistence between humans and animals was an important topic on many episodes of Wild Kingdom, including the one you'll see tonight. Many organizations and cultures throughout the world remain committed to identifying ways to preserve and even enhance their natural environment. The Amazon rainforest is a terrific example of that collaboration in action. Native cultures who used to poach animals and slash and burn the forest now benefit from its beauty. The revenue generated through tourism has created sustainable jobs for many people who call the rainforest their home. Their future is very bright in the Wild Kingdom. So sit back and relax and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom right here on RFD-TV.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by Mutual of Omaha, people you can count on.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Among the most remote islands in the Western Hemisphere are those located here, off the southern tip of South America, some 300 miles east of Magellan Straits. These are the Falklands, consisting of two principal islands plus numerous smaller ones, such as New Island, which are rich in wildlife, particularly birds. Recently, I visited New Island at the invitation of the British government and Ian Strange, noted conservationist. Among the birds we observed were 3 of the 5 penguin species living there: the rockhopper penguin, the Magellan penguin, and the penguin called the gentoo. They are flightless birds, but excellent swimmers who live on fish they catch in surrounding waters. Another of the impressive birds we observed on New Island was the distinctive and graceful black-browed albatross, one of the largest flying birds in the world, with a wingspread of nearly 8 feet. After traveling by large boat from Stanley on East Falkland, I was taken to New Island in a smaller boat by Ian Strange, who was to be my guide in exploring the Falklands. New Island is only one of some 200 islands here. Probably no one knows it better than conservationist Ian Strange, who is wildlife advisor to the Falkland Islands government. Largely through his efforts, strong measures have been taken to preserve New Island as a sanctuary for wildlife, especially nesting seabirds. Here, scientists are welcome to come and study the life histories of the wild animal residents in their natural habitat. Most of the coastline is rocky like this, and care must be taken to ensure that our small boat does not pull loose and drift away. We've come to this spot in particular because at the summit of the steep slope, there is a fine colony of nesting penguins which Ian Strange has been observing closely in his studies. We've reached the first summit, but it's not the highest point, since some of the hills here are 700 feet above sea level. Although the rugged, attractive island is only half a mile wide, it's 7.5 miles long. As we head for where the birds are located, it becomes obvious that there are few areas here where the scenery is not breathtakingly beautiful. This island has a breeding population of well over 1 million birds, mostly penguins of various species. And we're heading now for one of the larger individual nesting colonies. So rarely does man appear in their domain that the nesting penguins here have no real fear of people. There are around 150,000 birds in this particular colony, and most of them are the species called rockhopper penguins. They're a handsome bird, distinguished by the odd tufts of light feathers projecting outward from over the scarlet-colored eyes. The beak is especially powerful and sharp-edged and can easily cut a small fish in two. A similar but much less abundant species here is the macaroni penguin. This bird's name stems from the much heavier strands of feathers like macaroni sprouting from its brow. It's also distinguishable from the rockhopper by its dark eyes. It's not hard to see where the name rockhopper originated. Mutual preening is a common courtship activity. Many of the rockhoppers already have 1 or 2 eggs. They're white eggs, but quickly become stained in the nest. In sharp contrast to flightless penguins, there is nesting at the colony's edge one of the most graceful of flying birds. This is the black-browed albatross, named for the dark line of feathers over the eyes. It's a handsome species with dense, soft plumage like a fine fur. About 8,000 albatrosses nest close to the penguins here on New Island. But it's when they soar overhead that their magnificent grace and beauty can be most appreciated. Those long, narrow wings span about 8 feet, making it one of the largest flying birds in the world. Ian will continue to observe here in the colony, and I'll meet him later after seeing where the nesting birds come ashore. It's among these rockhoppers that Ian Strange has been concentrating on studying the movements of the penguins, their habits, and their individual territories. Here, very pertinent scientific observations are conducted. Included is a specific study of how, in the turbulent area at water's edge, the penguins can move so skillfully and come ashore without being crushed by the sea against the rocks. Often the rockhoppers will gather in groups after emerging from the water, and then, as if upon a signal, suddenly move in a body toward the higher areas where their nests are located. Some of the most significant studies of penguins, other than the rockhoppers, have been made in the nesting areas away from the rocky shore. So that's where I'll go next, this time to observe the activities of the gentoo penguin, which is one of the largest living here. This barren terrain is ideal nesting territory. Here is where the breeding colony totaling 3,000 birds has established itself. This colony is made up of a large species of penguin known as the gentoo. The knee-high individuals weigh about 14 pounds. In the nesting ceremony of the gentoo penguin, pebble selection is very important. When one is found that's exactly right, it's taken home quickly and guarded jealously. The pebbles are used as nesting material, and often dozens of these little stones are carried to the nest depression. Once a good collection has been made, it must not be left unattended, because if that happens, it's not unusual for a neighboring gentoo to steal some. In doing this, the offending gentoo penguin is very apt to get into serious trouble, because he's not only deliberately taking another gentoo's laboriously gathered stones, he's also invading another bird's several square feet of private territory. Gentoo penguins are extremely jealous of their own territories, and when such an invasion is compounded by theft, the owner gets highly upset. Other gentoos in the colony calmly see to their own nest building and pay little attention to the disturbance in their midst. As the chase continues, other events are occurring nearby. A gentoo chick has just hatched and is still too weak to stand erect. An indication of how recent the hatching has been is the damp and empty shell fragment. Nearby, these chicks are not much older, as evidenced by the egg tooth still visible on the tip of the beak. But it hasn't taken them long to develop a good appetite, and they know instinctively how to feed on the pre-digested shrimp and squid their mother regurgitates for them. It may seem that this chick is getting favored treatment, but she has enough food in her for both of them, and as soon as one is filled, she'll feed the other in the same manner. As with the other gentoos in the colony, she doesn't give much more than a brief glance to the activities of her neighbors. One of the greatest predators on gentoo chicks is the large Falklands skua, a powerful bird always on the alert for any penguin egg or chick left unprotected. When it's near, the gentoo mothers make sure their little ones are well covered. The adult gentoos themselves, however, have nothing to fear from the big predator, who wisely keeps out of range of the powerful penguin beak. As I stoop to get closer, one of the agitated penguins opens its mouth in anger. Inside the beak, I can see the reason why it can grip a slippery fish so well. Both the tongue and palate are well barbed. The nesting penguins become more alert when a new sort of danger threatens. The large predatory skua has begun circling low over the colony, looking for any unguarded egg or chick. Yet, though easily more than a match for the large gull-like predator, the gentoo's only real effort at defense is to squawk loudly, which doesn't discourage the skua at all. With the nest well guarded at the moment, the skua gives up the brief hunt and lands just outside the colony to watch for an opportunity. Some distance away are several holes in the earth, which are a sure indication that another species is nesting here, the Magellan penguin. It's immediately distinguishable from other species here by the circle of white on the face. These birds scratch out burrows with their feet and build their nests inside, seldom leaving them unattended. It's time to head for the beach area where Ian Strange is to meet me. Here, away from New Island's rocky shoreline, there is a place where the penguins can walk ashore with no difficulty whatever. This is a relatively small area of very gentle surf and smooth sandy beach, where the gentoos especially like to swim in the pleasant shallows. Not only is the sand enjoyable underfoot, but these waters often teem with good food, schools of small fish. Careful surveys have shown that the gentoo population here numbers about 25,000. While they prefer to nest on higher and less sandy ground, sooner or later all of the gentoos eventually come to this place to swim and fish in the incredibly clear waters where pounding waves and dangerous rocks are no problem. Gentoos often leap like porpoises as they swim, and like all other penguins, have much greater agility in water than on land. Their webbed feet aren't used in swimming, except as a form of rudder. Propulsion comes from the strong, narrow, flipper-like wing. The gentoo penguins come to this particular area more than other penguins because, if it is possible, they much prefer entering the sea from a shelving beach than from a rock ledge. They tend to prefer group movements, whether in the water or on land. And even when they're not particularly active, they enjoy standing or milling about together. Soon, the nesting season will be over, and most of the penguins on these Falkland Islands will begin to migrate toward warmer shores up the coast of South America. But for now, they're content under the warm summer sun. Gentoos are fast swimmers and can maneuver with exceptional ability in the water, which is why they have very little difficulty capturing the marine life upon which they feed. They are suddenly very excited. There's a good reason. The penguins have detected some sort of danger. The danger is some southern fur seals moving in. They're hunting penguins, as they often do, and the birds will be sure to stay out of the water as long as such danger is present. So long as they remain on shore, the penguins are safe and they know it. And now the last of the stragglers are coming in. And now, as we had planned earlier, Ian Strange is moving in to pick me up. The peace and tranquility here is reflected in the quietly watching Gentoos. It is because of conservationists like Ian that islands such as this are being turned into refuges where birds are safe and where man can study them and learn better how to protect them. It is through the continued observations being conducted by conservationists at field research stations here that the future of all the island's wildlife becomes brighter. The penguins on these remote South Atlantic islands need never fear the scientists who come exploring the Falklands. The Falkland Islands are important because they provide an excellent example of far-sighted conservation thinking. Even though the wildlife inhabiting these remote islands is presently in no particular danger, steps have been taken to ensure that this will never occur. The birds and other animals of the Falklands are protected on 27 private and government sanctuaries, and as a result, the possibility of them being wiped out is most unlikely. Other governments could well use the Falkland Islands Conservation Program as an example in setting up sanctuaries of their own to protect wildlife before it becomes endangered. In that way, indigenous wildlife populations need never reach that tragic point where their very existence is threatened in the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha, people you can count on, has presented Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha, helping people find Medicare solutions for over 50 years. To learn more about plan options or how to protect your kingdom, contact us today.
Mutual of Omaha. Protect your kingdom.